naturally leavened bread dough. To make this bread dough, we need 3 ingredients: water, salt, and fresh ground whole wheat flour. We're going to start with 5 1/4 cups of fresh water. To that, we're going to add 1 cup of wet sourdough starter, which is made out of flour and water. And to our starter and water, we're now going to add 4 teaspoons of salt. The trick to this bread is to add enough flour that the dough pulls away from the sides of the bowl and forms a ball. Then we're going to knead it for 10 minutes. So let's put our flour in and get this bread going. The dough is beginning to pull away from the sides, but we need it to clean those sides up as it goes around. You'll see how it's starting to clean them up. There we go. See how those sides are wiping clean? And now we're ready for our dough to knead for 10 minutes. Now that our dough has kneaded for 10 minutes, we're ready to take it out of the bread mixer and put it in a bowl to leaven for 12 to 24 hours. We have sprayed our bowl with no stick spray. And once again, when working with naturally leavened bread dough, water is your friend. And you'll want to put water on your hands. Once the dough is in the bowl, I like to flip it over to coat both sides and then cover it with a rag that is wet to keep it moist and keep the dough from drying out on top. This will counter for 12 to 24 hours, and then it'll be ready to roll out into loaves, flatbread, braided pizza loaves or dessert breads, and cinnamon rolls. Naturally leavened bread dough. Now that our dough has risen overnight, the lactobacilli have done their job, and we are ready to roll it out into usable forms. When working with naturally leavened bread dough, water is your best friend. We're going to wet our counter, dump the dough out of the bowl and onto the counter, and then we're going to divide it before we roll it out. By following the recipe, you should have approximately 8 pounds of dough. Each loaf will be about 2 pounds. You can get a scale and weigh it if you'd like, or you can just eyeball it. We're going to do 2 loaves of bread, 1 pan of pita, which requires the same amount of dough, and then our last segment we're going to do a braided loaf, which requires half a pita loaf. We're going to set these aside for just a moment. until we're ready to work with them.